Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Swagatam once again. Welcome back. So, the last episode, we stopped at verse number 10 of the first chapter. So, we'll go through that again, revise that, and then continue from there. Okay. अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितम् पर्याप्तं त्विदमेतेषां बलं भीमाभिरक्षितम्. So this was where we had stopped, where Duryodhana is telling that the Kaurava army, the strength of the Kaurava army is unlimited because of Bhishma, while that of Pandava's army is limited because of Bhima. So only Bhima's strength is over there. So he wants to say that the strength in his army, the strength in his part is much more higher. So he wants to say that the Kauravas army has a better chance of winning the war rather than the Pandavas. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagamavastitaha bhishmamevabhirakshantu bhavantas sarva eva hi. So he's asking all the other warriors present over there to say that, please protect, please keep an eye on Bhishma, because he already told that Bhishma has unlimited power. So he's telling all the other warriors to ensure that Bhishma gets all the support he needs and protect Bhishma at any cost. One, because he has unlimited power. Second, he also wants to show that, because he is the grandfather, he's a very old person. So, and it is a very knowledgeable person. So it is our responsibility to make sure that he doesn't get any harm during the war. So protect him at any cost. That is what Duryodhana wants to say. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuru vruddha pitamaha simhanadau vindayo chaihi shankadadmau pratapavan. So to an extent, I think Bhishma knew what Duryodhana is trying to do. He's trying to just please him and all that kind of things. So he's like, enough of those talks. And then so during those days, to say that the war has begun, so they used to blow the conch. So sounding like a lion roaring. So the Bhishma, he was definitely disturbed because he never wanted the war in the first place. He wanted all of them to be there together. That was his dream, to make sure to have that there is a lot of peace and happiness in the Hastinapur kingdom. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. He always ensured, that the kingdom or the nation was his first priority. Yeah. And the people's happiness was his priority. So that is why he went to a great extent to sacrifice a lot of things for the sake of the kingdom. So initially, he sacrificed his whole youth to serve his father, right? Shantanu, King Shantanu, who was his father, who met Satyavati, he fell in love with her and he wanted to get married to her. And Satyavati's father said that, you already have a son and he is the rightful heir to the throne. Now, if you get married to my daughter, what will she and her children get? They will be like, they won't be respected in the kingdom. So, that was the condition. So he said, I will not be able to give my daughter to you. And Shantanu was very depressed because of that. And seeing the depressed father, Bhishma understood what it was. He was not Bhishma at that time. He was Devavrata. His name was Devavrata. And then he goes and he inquires, what happened to my father? Why is he so sad? And then he gets to know the background. And then he goes to Satyavati's father and he says that you don't have to worry about it. Your daughter's children will only be the heir to the throne. I will move away. So you don't have to worry about it. So he promises that he will not take up the position of the king once after his father. But Satyavati's father was a little more adamant. He says, no, 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 you just told me tomorrow you might keep the word. I'm not doubting you. Tomorrow you will get married. Your wife, your children may not be thinking like you. So later they might say that, no, 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 we want a place in the kingdom. If that thing comes in, then again, my daughter will be nowhere. So then he takes an oath for his father's happiness. He takes an oath that he will never get married, so that there is no way that somebody else will come and take a place to the throne. So he says that I am not going to get married and I will also not take up the position of the king after my father. So that was a huge sacrifice that he did to ensure that his father is happy. It was one sacrifice. That was a big sacrifice. And after that, he dedicated his life to ensure the safety of the kingdom, to make sure the kingdom expands. So he was a great warrior. He helped the kings who came after that. To Satyavati's children came, and after that, they they both died at a very early age. And then after that, he wanted to place Pandu as the king, but because the Dhritarashtra was blind. So then, after Pandu was placed as a king, then again Pandu went through a lot of difficulties and then he died. And then again, Dhritarashtra had to be the king. So he had to support the king in terms of administration, welfare of the kingdom, everything. So his topmost priority was the welfare of the kingdom. So here, even now, he was ensuring that he stands from the kingdom's point of view. He stays, even though he felt that whatever Duryodhana was doing, whatever Dhritarashtra was doing, was not dharma. But his promise of he protecting this kingdom at any cost. So he had to stay at the side, even though his heart was on the other side. Okay, so even though his heart was on the other side, but he really fought in the right way. He didn't bring in any kind of leniency. He fought the way he has to fight. He understood what his responsibilities were there. His karma, his actions pertaining to the responsibilities that he had, he ensured that it goes in the right manner. So he didn't need to, Duryodhana he didn't want Duryodhana to come and tell all those things because it didn't make sense for him. Whatever was the situation, he said that he will stand by the kingdom and he stood by the kingdom. It was Duryodhana who was always feeling that insecurity whether Bhishma will move to the other side. So he was a little worried why all these things he still doesn't have trust in me, is what Bhishma also felt at that time. He got a little angry also. So that's why he roared like a lion and blew his conch. And also to say that Duryodhana, don't worry. I am here and I will ensure that I will fight bravely and I will fight in the right manner. So let's see the next one. Tata shankhaschcha bhairyaschcha panavanaka gomukhaha सहसैवाभ्यहन्यन्त सशब्दस्तु मुलो bhavat. So once Bhishma, as the commander of the army, blew the conch to say that, yes, we have begun the war. Okay. Then all the others also blew their respective conch, kettle drums, trumpets, horns, everything to raise. So why was this done? Why was this conch used and all the other, like the kettle drums, trumpets, horns blew? It is also to increase that rajasic mode. We have three gunas, right? Sattvika guna, rajasic guna, and the tamasika guna. So the rajasika guna is what was required here. The passion, the activity based, the action based was what represents, is what rajasic guna represents, right? So sattvika guna represents a calmer, peaceful mind. Rajasic mind is more of an action oriented, and a tamasika mind is more of an ignorant mind, or a docile, laziness, sleepiness, all those comes under the tamasika guna. So here, what was required in the war? You can't go with the sattvic guna there. You can't say, no, in the war, I'll just go there and just sit there and meditate. That's not the place for meditation there. That's the place for action there. So, to raise the spirits of all the warriors, if in case if somebody is sleeping or feeling sleepy, it's a way to energize, isn't it? Say, suppose we all are sleeping and some you hear the sound and suddenly we wake up. We are fresh, like, the sleep goes away, isn't it? Have you seen in classrooms when the children, the students are listening to some dry subject maybe, and the children are dozing off. And then the teacher suddenly just shouts. Okay, and suddenly people will wake up and be like, yeah, we are here. Yeah, so it is to make sure that they all the others. So not only the Bhishma and the other commanders, every soldier in that army had to wake up and fight bravely, isn't it? So that was very important. So that's why these sounds was created, one, and also the more of action oriented mind wakes up when we hear these sounds. ततश्वेतैर्हयैर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदध्मतुः. Then, so once the Kaurava army blew their conches, then Madhava, Krishna. So Madhava means, Ma means Lakshmi, Dhava means husband. Husband of Lakshmi is Vishnu. Vishnu is so Krishna is an incarnation of Vishnu. So that is why he is also being called as Madhava. So Madhava and the son of Pandu. Son of Pandu is Arjuna. So they were stationed. I think you all must have seen that the picture of Krishna and Arjuna in the chariot, isn't it? That's quite a very popular image that is there everywhere. So they were in their magnificent chariot with white horses. And they also, Pandu's son Arjuna and Krishna also blew their divine conch shells. So they also, to also answer to that. So it was like, the Kaurava army is like, we are ready to start. And then the other side, Pandava army also blew their conches and say that we are also ready to go. Okay. पाञ्चजन्यं हृषीकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जयः पौण्ड्रं दध्मौ महाशङ्खं भीमकर्मावृकोदरः. So Hrishikesha, again Krishna, he blew his conch shell. His shankha was called as Panchajanya. Arjuna blew the Devadatta. So they all had names. The conch had, each one had the names. So Krishna's conch was named Panchajanya. Arjuna's conch was Devadatta. Bhima was the mightiest in terms of the muscle power, muscle strength. His conch was Poundra. Okay, so all these people blew their respective conches. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakulas Sahadevascha Sughoshamani Pushpakau. So Yudhishthira's conch was named Ananta Vijaya. Nakula was Sughosha and Sahadeva's was Mani Pushpaka. So these are all very clear, just the literal meaning of these verses. So I'm just going a little faster. Wherever you require to spend more time, we'll spend it. Okay? Kashyascha Parameshwasaha Shikhandi cha Maharathaha Drishtadhyumno Viratascha Satyakischa Parajitaha. So, the king of Kashi, the great warrior Shikhandi, Drishtadhyumna, who was the brother-in-law of the Pandavas, Drupada's son, Drishtadhyumna, Virata, and Satyaki. All these people blew there. So each one, it's like saying, okay, are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? So each one of them blew their conches to indicate that this part of the army is ready. This part of the army is ready. So to just see to the commander of the entire army, he gets to know from each of these people that yes, all these the next level, the warriors under them, all of them are ready to start the war. Okay? Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvashah Prithivipate Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Shankhan Dadmuh Prithak Prithak. Drupada was again Draupadi's father-in-law of the Pandavas, the 5 sons of Draupadi, and Abhimanyu, who was Arjuna and Subhadra's son. Abhimanyu. So all of these people also indicated that they are also ready. Saghoshodhartarashtranam hridayani vyadarayat nabhascha prithivim chaiva tumulobhyanunadayan. So this sound, so each one of them blew their conches, and then the vibration, the sound vibration was so tremendous and so powerful that this sound thundered across the sky and the earth. So it was like the moment the Pandavas also blew their conches, the sound became so much and it shattered the hearts of your sons, O Dhritarashtra. So again, Sanjaya is trying to tell that, it was not just this army, the Kaurava, your sons' army, who blew their conches and trumpets. When these people also blew their, when they said that we are also ready. So it is also indicating that, so it's like, I say that, okay, I'm ready. And now the opponent of mine is telling, I'm also ready. And suddenly you're like, okay, he's also ready now. So what is the outcome? So, that kind of a slight nervousness comes in when you get to know that the opposition, the opponent is equally ready or more than that, they're ready. So if you get that kind of a thing, you suddenly feel that, now what will happen? Yeah. So he was also trying to tell Dhritarashtra that it's not just your sons and your sons have a lot of army. There is Bhishmacharya, Dronacharya, Kripacharya. All these great warriors are there. But at the same time, on the other side also, there are equally powerful warriors. So beware. That is also another thing. So that is why he says that it shattered the hearts of your sons. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् इदमाह महीपते. So at that time, okay, so he says that once everybody blew their conches, Arjuna, who had the symbol of Hanuman on the flag of his chariot. So why is that a little more prominently told? Why did he had the symbol of Hanuman on the flag of his chariot? So there was a story behind that. So once Arjuna was very proud of his archery skill. He was boasting about it. I can do anything. And he tells that to Sri Krishna. He said, I don't understand why during Lord Rama's time. So he says that your previous lifetime, okay, the monkeys had to work so hard to make a bridge to Lanka. Yeah, we're all carrying one stone. Okay, it was such a slow process. Okay, if I was there, he says because he wanted to say that he's very proud of it and that he can do anything and everything. He says, if I was there during that time, I would have just made a bridge of arrows. Okay? It would have been so easy. In one split second, I would have made a bridge. This took so many days. Each of those monkeys slowly carrying one stone, dropping it, then again walking back, again bringing it. It was such a slow process. Then the Lord says, okay, all right, you do one thing. Anyway, that era is over, but still, go ahead, show me your bridge. Okay, build a bridge. So very skillfully, Arjuna, he showered thousands. So, in one itself, he gets thousands of arrows and he makes a huge bridge. So now he says, okay, fine, you made a bridge. Now it's the time to test it. What is the use if the bridge doesn't work? Okay, if it collapses, right? So it has to be tested. So he says, I will test it. So what he says, he'll say, okay, since you were mocking all the monkeys, let's do one thing. Let's call Hanuman only to test it. Okay. So he calls Hanuman. And as soon as Hanuman starts walking on the bridge, it starts crumbling. It just falls down. So then Arjuna, he understood it. It's not just see, for Bhishma, he did make a bed of arrows. Okay. But that's not the way. If the entire Sugriva's army had to cross over to Lanka, so the bridge had to be very powerful. It cannot be a bed of arrows, or it cannot be a bridge of arrows, sorry. It has to be a bed of stones only. So bridge of stones, so that it stays strong. It doesn't just crumble down. So Arjuna realized what his mistake was. And he says that, I'm sure that my bridge of arrows could not have taken the weight of Lord Rama's huge army. Okay, and he asks both Sri Krishna and Hanuman for their forgiveness. Okay, so after that, Hanuman shares a lot of his knowledge to Arjuna, and saying that humbleness, modesty, humility, all these are the characteristics of a good warrior, of any person. This is very, very important. So, and then he says, never, however you are, however big you are, never be proud of your skills. Isn't that something which we also have to take it to our own self? We may be very great at certain skills. So make sure that we don't take it to our head. We need to practice. We need to observe that humility, modesty, and accept it that, if I've got a skill, it is not my effort alone. It's only because of the grace. Ishvara pranidhanadva. Yoga Sutra Patanjali's Yoga Sutra tells that. So whatever that we are doing, make sure that it's only not just my effort. My effort may be there. My passion may be there. My skills may be there. My talent may be there. But if I do not have the grace, if I do not have the Lord's blessings, I cannot do anything with this talent, with that skill. Nothing can happen. So never ever be proud of whatever that you can do. You may have lot of strengths with you. Take that as a blessing. Take that there is the Lord's grace which is there upon me, and that is why I am able to be in this particular position. So Hanuman gives all this knowledge to Arjuna and says, never be proud of your skills. So then he also granted a boon that he knew that there was going to be a war. And he says that during the great war, he would seat himself on Arjuna's chariot. So it was not just the symbol of Hanuman. They felt that Hanuman himself was present with him, with Arjuna during the war. Okay? Arjuna uvacha सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयमेच्युता. Says सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये, in the middle of both the armies. Take the chariot and go. Achyuta. Achyuta is Krishna. Me Achyuta. So please take me. Don't take the chariot because Krishna is the charioteer. He says, Krishna, you as a charioteer, please take me to the middle of both the armies. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye. In the middle of both the armies, take this chariot. For what? Yavadetan niriksheham yodhukamanavasthitan kairmaya sahayodhavyam asmin rana samudyame. Then Arjuna said, so like he said, no, senayor ubhayor madhye, take me to the middle. Please take my chariot to the middle of both the armies. So for what? Why did he want to do it? So that let me look at the warriors. Let me look at how the warriors are standing in the battle. Because I have to fight now, right? I have to fight in this great war. So let me see the army. So here Arjuna was slightly overconfident. This is nothing. I can pull it off very easily. This is what he says. So he says, how does Arjuna address Krishna? Achyuta, the most dependable one. Achyuta is one who is the most dependable one. Why? The one who makes no mistake. Achyuta, Achyuta, who makes mistakes. Achyuta, who makes no mistakes. You are one who can never make any mistakes. The divine can never make any mistakes. Isn't it? So, says that. And because why? Sarva Vyapi. He's a Sarva Vyapi. He's there everywhere. The divine energy is everywhere. So here Krishna represents the divine. He's not just a human being here. Arjuna is telling that Krishna represents the divine here. So the entire Bhagavad Gita, what is it telling? It's not to say that, it's basically telling us that the divine is everywhere. Whenever we are in desperate need, when we are able to totally surrender ourselves, the divine's grace, divine's blessings will shower upon us. So Krishna was there with Arjuna because Arjuna had totally surrendered to Krishna. So Krishna here, don't look at it as another human being or even as an avatar. Look at him as the divine. So the whole of Bhagavad Gita, if you look at him as the divine energy, then you will be able to understand it better. If you look at him as Arjuna's friend, or his cousin. So if you start looking at that, or even as a God's incarnation, Vishnu's incarnation, you still feel that the power is limited. Okay, but if you look at Krishna as the whole divine energy, then his powers are unlimited. There's only one divine, that divine. So it's there in all of us. Only thing is, we don't realize that we have the divine. We are all part of the divine. Krishna understood. He's a self-realized being. So he knows that the divine, he's part of the divine. He's also aware that everything around him is also part of the same divine. So with that knowledge, he becomes the divine himself. Aham Brahmasmi. So he becomes that. So in that sense, we'll have to look at Krishna as that divine Brahman only. Okay. So then it will be more easy to understand, and these names, you'll be able to relate to that much better. So here Achyuta, who makes no mistakes because he's Sarva Vyapi, he has unlimited power within. And requests him. So what do you say? Achyuta, take me to the center. So there is a very beautiful way. So why does God listen to such orders from us? Okay. So there is a beautiful verse from Bhagavatam, which you will be able to relate it once you know this. Okay. So this is from Bhagavatam 9.4.63. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aham Bhakta Paradhino Yaswatantra Ivadvija Sadhubhirgrasta Hridayo Bhaktair Bhakta Janapriyaha. Says that Bhagavan is telling, although I am supremely independent, I am the supreme. I am that from which everything is got manifested. Yet, I become enslaved by my devotees. The moment my devotees call me, I become their slave. Says I listen to everything what my devotees wants to tell me. I'm all ears to them. So they are very dear to me. Why? We all are part of the divine. Isn't it? Just like how a mother, for the mother, her children is very, very dear to her. Similarly, for the God, we all are very dear to the divine. Oh, then why does God not give us all that we ask for? That's a different thing. Yeah. Certain times we as parents, do we give everything what a child asks? No. If the child, we feel that, okay, if that is not going to be good to my child, I will not give. Even if the child is crying, even if the child cries a lot, we say, no, you will not get it. That doesn't mean that we don't love. We know that that is not required for the child at that particular time, isn't it? Similarly, God is our parent. That parent knows what's good for us, or what's needed for us, what's needed for our growth, what's needed for our transformation. So he gives what is required for us. Okay. So, and says they're very dear to me, and I become indebted to them when they call me. So, say such is, so see, that is the beauty, such is the grace, just the compassion of God's bond, of God's love to all of us. So he just listens. Sometimes he just says, okay, fine, I'm ready to become your charioteer. I'm ready to become your driver. I'm ready to listen to all your commands. So I have no problem. So the ego is only with us, right? As humans. Ego is not there in the divine. When we leave, that ego is taken away from us, then we become one with God. For God, he says, I don't have any problem if somebody tells anything to me, shouts and talks to me, yeah, smiles and talks to me. cries and talks to me, they all are the same for me. I don't see that this is a bad person, so I will not take care of him. This is a good person, so I will take a lot of care for him. No, for God, everybody are the same. Okay, such a beautiful verse from Bhagavatam. Okay, let's move back to Bhagavad Gita. योत्स्यमानानवेक्षेऽहम् य एतेऽत्र समागताः धार्तराष्ट्रस्य दुर्बुद्धेर्युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः. So, I desire to see. So, what is Arjuna telling to Krishna? Says, Achyuta, take me to the middle of both the armies. Senayor, Ubhayor, Madhye. Says, to see what? To see the armies. And so to get ready, isn't it? Also, it's not just to see the armies. He has one more thought which is there. Says, I want to see that evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. And also, I want to see who all are the people who have come to fight for that evil guy, to please him, to butter him. Who all have come? I also want to see. So now this is becoming a little on the other end, right? Arjuna is showing off his powers. Arjuna is showing off his overconfidence, superiority complex. Everything can be seen here. Yeah, feels that no, there's no problem. Nothing can happen to us. Yeah, so he also wants to mock now. And he also calls evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Understandable that he was, Duryodhana had a lot of bad qualities in him. But he also had good qualities. And then who are we to judge to another person? Yeah, so here it shows that there is, so it's not that it was all right at the Pandavas and all wrong at the Kauravas. It was not that. Yeah, the weight of the negativities was more on the Kauravas, but not that they were fully negative. They also had some positive things. At the same time, here Pandavas, they also had some negative things also. Okay, so it was nothing to see, feel so good about that I'm always right, the other person is always wrong. So it one is that, and also Arjuna was showing also that he's ready for to fight and to win back whatever they have lost. Yeah, and he also wanted to. So he had the whole part of all that injustice that happened to him, to his brothers, to his wife, to his kingdom. Everything just came to his mind at that point of time, and then he had that vengeful thought. He wanted to take revenge. He wanted to punish those people for all their past wrongdoings. So that is why he says, I want to have a closer look at the Kaurava army. I want to see who all have taken the side of adharma. Who all, just to please him, who all have taken his side. And I want to punish them because they are also on the adharma side. So I want to punish them also who have chosen the wrong side. Okay, let's move to the next one. Sanjaya uvacha eva mukto hrishikesho gudakeshena bharata senayorubhayormadhye sthapayitva rathottamam. Sanjaya is telling, O Dhritarashtra, Rishikesha, Krishna, being told by Gudakesha. Here, Gudakesha is another name for Arjuna. So what is Gudakesha? Gudaka means sleep. Sa is, or Sha is conquered. So Arjuna is the one who has conquered sleep. What does that mean? So he doesn't sleep at all? So here there are two meanings to it. So don't look at the gross meaning of sleep. That is also there. So it seems to become a great warrior, and he was so passionate about archery also. So even in the night when everybody sleeps, this man used to practice archery. So how that came in is because one day there was no light. There was a power cut. There was no power, and they were having food. And Arjuna felt that when he's just taking the food, putting it in the mouth. And suddenly a eureka moment happened to him. He thinks that if the hand knows the way to the mouth, yeah, why can't I also do the do the archery in the night? Can I not know based on the other senses, using the other senses? Can I not practice archery and hit the right target? So from then on, it seems he started also practicing archery in the night. And that is why he is called as Gudakesha. That is one meaning. That's the gross meaning. The subtle meaning is sleep also means ignorance. Yeah. So overcoming that ignorance. So why? Because he had Krishna with him. The knowledge. Krishna represents knowledge over here. The wealth of knowledge was with Krishna. And who was with Krishna? Arjuna. So because he was with Krishna, yeah, a lot of his ignorances. Now we'll see, right, how his ignorance also will be taken away one by one in the whole Bhagavad Gita. So till then, whatever ignorance was there, it was taken away by Krishna, by giving that awareness, by giving that knowledge to him. So he's also one who has conquered ignorance through the light of knowledge. So that is one. So here the Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra, Rishikesha, as told by Arjuna, he places the excellent chariot. He places his chariot between the two armies. And where exactly does Krishna go and place him? So see, it's like this. This is one army. This is the other army, right? So he says, place it in the center. So which center was he talking about? Yeah, the center of this or the center of this? Don't know, right? So Krishna, he wanted to remove some more ignorance which was there in Arjuna's mind. And he knew this thing was going to come. So what he did, he very tactically, he went and placed in the center of both the armies, but this line, where he placed the chariot right in front of Bhishma and Drona. He placed the chariot, right, so that Arjuna can just see Bhishma and Drona standing over there. So why does he do that? Bhishma Drona Pramukhatah Sarveshan cha Mahikšitām Uvacha Partha Pasyetan Samavetan Kuruniti. Bhishma Drona Pramukhatah Sarveshan cha Mahikšitām Uvacha Partha Pasyetan Samavetan Kuruniti. So, like what I said, he placed the chariot in the presence so that Arjuna can see Bhishma, Dronacharya, and all the other kings right there. And he says, Partha, see all the Kurus all gathered over here. Very smart, no? He wanted. Why did he do that? He knew that there is some kind. So it's like this. Sometimes we just show out externally certain. We tell certain things. We show a certain emotion, and there is an underlying emotion which is there inside us. And so sometimes there are very few psychologists who will be able to know by this they interpret that there is something else which is hidden. And so then that's when they start asking certain questions and try to get the whole thing out of us, isn't it? So similarly, Krishna knew that underlying there is some emotion which is there. There is some grief. There is some delusion. There is some sorrow which is there in Arjuna. He wanted it to come out because he knew that with that grief, with that unconsciously whatever he's holding on to, that will come probably at a very crucial moment in the war. That should not happen. He was not yet ready. There are certain things which is needed to be taken out of his mind. He needs certain realization. So he knows that the moment he said that, though it was overconfident, he said, place it in the middle of both the armies. He knew that this is going to cause. He has not seen them. So let me do that right in the beginning so that that part is taken off from there. That confusion is not taken. Because at the end, somewhere in between, he comes across Bhishma or Drona and then his hands start shaking. Then it's not good for their this part of this side of the army. It's not good for the Pandavas army. So he knew that this is going to arrive. And so he says with a smile, Krishna says, you know, see, Partha, see these Kurus gathered over here. He also wants to see somewhere if his intuition about Arjuna is right or wrong also. So he wanted to test him if Arjuna is ready that to face all his people in the war. पश्यत् स्थितान् पार्थः पितृनथ पितामहान् आचार्यान् भ्रातॄन् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा. So Partha, Arjuna saw among both the armies, he saw his uncles. Both the sides he saw. It's not just the other side. He saw from his side also there were his uncles on the other side also. His uncles, grandfathers, teachers, uncles, brothers, all his relatives. Yeah, cousins are there, sons, grandsons, father-in-laws, friends. All these people were standing on both the sides. Shvashuran suhridaschaiva सेनयोरुभयोरपि तान् समीक्ष स कौन्तेयः सर्वान् बन्धूनवस्थितान् कृपया परयाविष्टो विषीदन्निदमब्रवीत्. So, seeing all his relatives present there, things started to change for him. So till then, Arjuna, who was so confident, who had that sound to say that, take me, Achyuta, to the middle of both the armies. But seeing them, his face started to change. He was in deep sorrow over them. So seeing Bhishma, Drona, Arjuna completely collapsed. So Chinmayananda Saraswati ji, he says this, that this is the critical moment. We all see that, no? There are certain times when we are totally lost. We don't know how to proceed. Till then, we were like, we would have taken it very gracefully. And at a particular time, we don't know what to do. Our hands, legs start to shake. We will not be able to proceed. That's a very critical moment. We analyze the situation a lot at that particular time. See, before that, we can analyze a lot. Yeah, we can be prepared and all that. But then when a critical moment arrives, when we're thrown into such a kind of situation, most of us falter, like how Arjuna did. Yeah. Understanding, knowing the situation is far different than being in the situation. Sometimes we give a lot of advice to people, isn't it? You do this way, you do that way. We are not in that situation. So only when we are in that situation, So we sometimes say, hey, don't worry, you'll be able to manage this. This will go away. You'll be able to handle it. Don't worry about it. But that only when we come across the same situation, only then we will know whether are we ready for it. It's very easy to tell another person, isn't it? Sometimes we see, right? So if something, some loss has happened to in some family, we go and say, don't worry, no, it's just a matter of time. But if at all it happens to us, are we ready for it? It's very easy to give advice to another person. So, and at the same time, the other person also says, no, you don't understand what I'm going through. That is also. So, yes, we cannot, unless sometimes we say that, yes, we have also been in the situation. No, 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 you don't understand what I'm going. So there is one part where we give a lot of advice without really knowing the depth of the situation. And on the other hand, there are some people who do not want to come out of the problem at all and say, you don't know what I am going through. This is not like what you're telling. This is much more intense. So I cannot come out of it. So you see both the sides. Okay. And both the places, we see that, people do not use the intellect and try to see what needs to be. Okay. So this is something which Krishna expected of Arjuna. He knew Arjuna will collapse seeing them. So that this critical moment, what Chinmayananda Saraswati ji is saying, this Krishna wanted to make sure that this might happen. And if it is happening, let it happen at the beginning and not somewhere later once the war begins. They have just blew their conches. It's still not on. So now if something has to happen, let it happen and let it get over with before something major. Then in between, when the war is in full motion, and that time, if Arjuna would have collapsed, then a lot of things would have turned upside down, not only for Arjuna, but for the entire Pandavas army. So that Krishna did not want that to happen. So he ensured that if it is happening, let it happen now. Don't try to escape from it. We saw that, right? Escaping, changing the situation. So that's exactly what is happening here. No more escaping, no more postponing. Let it happen now if it has to happen. And then we'll clear it right now here. Okay. So let's see. Arjuna is in deep sorrow. And what does he want to tell? And how does Krishna tackle this ignorance that is there in Arjuna's mind? And we'll see how Krishna will help Arjuna in turn, how Krishna will help us come out of our delusions, our grief, our sorrow, so that we can get transformed into a better individual. So we'll see that in the next class. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.